and welcome to Gut Feeling. My name is Laura Hernández, and today my guest is Elena Del Castillo. She's from the Caribbean, like me. She's from Cuba. I am from Puerto Rico. So we share a lot. We have a lot in common. And one of the things that we have in common is our language, Spanish. So you're going to see us talking English. Maybe it's not um, as perfect as we want, but we do our best. Right, Elena?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Elena del Castillo, she's many things. She's a beautiful woman inside out, but she's an esthetician. Also, she's a nurse. She's a biologist, but she does something very special, which is lymphatic drainage, but in a different way that probably most people know. She call it like electrosound, right? That's how we call it.
Yes,
You can
absolutely.
explain us a little bit more of what is it that you do, and at some point, like I always do, we're gonna uh, like merge it with the colonics.
Absolutely. Yeah, they complement each other, these
Exactly.
two treatments. So the specificity of this lymphatic drainage is done with electrosound. Most people know about lymphatic drainage made done by a massage therapist with the hands, which is
A manual one.
a manual one. Yes, and it's based on mechanical pressure between the hands of the therapist and some hard structures of the body, like the bones. And these massages are very effective in the limbs because you have the bones inside to press against. For the big cavities of the body that have 80% of the lymphatic nodes of the structures of the lymphatic system is not possible with hands. Is very much less effective.
Okay.
This lymphatic drainage with electrosound is based on electricity, as the name suggests. And this electricity can go up to 8 inches through the tissue, smooth and hard tissue, even the bones. So you can reach any structure of the body from the skin just with a light touch. And some of the main structures of the lymphatic system are really hidden because they are so important and protected beneath the bones. So the only way to reach these points it's this machine that I know of
Wow.
for now.
I never heard about that before, so it really interested me. And the way you speak is not maybe as superficial as another, maybe a person that do lymphatic drainage, because I've heard about I've heard people that do that, and I've never heard that specific information that you're giving me, and it's because of your background. That's what I'm trying to express here. Your background is not as simple as it could look. So you are a biologist and also a nurse, but why you study in France?
Yes, I became a nurse in France. I I left Cuba. I was already graduated from a bachelor's degree equivalent
Mhm.
in majoring in biology. I've been always passionate about the human body and how it works and nature as well. So when I left Cuba, my diploma wasn't really there. There was no equivalence
Exactly.
possible.
Yeah.
So I devoted my most of my life to work from home as a translator.
Mm.
Once I learned French, and it allowed me to take care of my children while they were growing up, and then I entered the nursing school in France. So I became a nurse, and when I came here to the United States,
There was no equivalence again.
uh,
Oh my God,
so
yes.
I would have to start all over, you know, and I didn't want that, and I had to work to fend for my children. So I did several things, one thing leading to another, but all the time related to health. And I discovered alternative medicine methods when I came here. Back in France, I was married to a doctor. My mind was and is still very scientific oriented, and it was completely Occidental type of medicine that I was in contact with. And once I came here, I started being awakened, to that aspect, holistic medicine, other ways of healing, other ways of more like preventive medicine, and more going to the cause, the root problems, like alternative medicine does. So the lymphatic treatment that I do is pretty much that. The lymphatic system really is so neglected in Occidental medicine compared to Ayurvedic medicine, Eastern medicine. They put a big, huge weight and importance into the lymphatic system. I did, before I became a biology, I did um, 2 years of medicine also in Cuba. And I could learn about all the basic classes that they teach to doctors to become.
Yes.
So all the anatomy, the physiology of the body, how it works, biochemistry,
Wow.
cellular biology, and the lymphatic system was only one class, one lecture, one practice, one lab. Compared to that, the vascular system, not the vascular, but the heart and the vessels of the body, it takes several weeks learning. And it's just like anecdotal for the system that teaches doctors and nurses in Occidental medicine. And so I discovered the importance of the lymphatic. The only way the Occidental medicine pays attention to that is when something is grown. Is the only moment
It's true.
they
Exactly.
say, oh, there is a problem, okay? We should take care of the lymphatic. But it's when it's too late. So the prevention is not really something.
There's a beautiful story also behind this. How you decided to start doing these treatments and how some people that you have seen with your eyes,
Absolutely.
had healed. And on my side, I know somebody that also keeps her health in this way with lymphatic drainage massages. But I want to hear from you because you are a healer. You are a healer. That's the best way to say it.
Well, I hope my work helps a lot. Yes. Yeah, I was asked by a friend that then became after my trainer to teach a class about the lymphatic system, the anatomy and physiology of the lymphatic system, because she knew I had this background that allowed me to know more in detail, because the training to use the lymphatic drainage machine, um, they used to send through email a PDF with the theory, so the students just read and see some pictures about the lymphatic system, but
It's
the class, the
theory.
training
It's a
itself
theory.
is exactly.
It's light.
And it's just hands-on. During the training, you learn to do the lymphatic drainage with patients, voluntary people. And when I went to teach this class, like a morning, explaining the lymphatic system and having an exchange with the students, I asked if I could stay just to see how it went.
Out of curiosity.
Absolutely. So most of the volunteers that were there to have their massage, their body, having the treatment by the trainers and the students were women, having had total or partial mastectomy.
Wow.
And when we have a mastectomy, when somebody has a mastectomy, usually they have to go to the armpits, to the area of the armpits where we have a lot of lymphatic nodes,
Mm-hmm.
and remove them because cancer cells can be lodged there, so it can spread somewhere else in the body. So they have to make sure that there is nothing left there. And sometimes, if you remove all the lymphatic nodes or most of them, liquid and edema will accumulate in that lymph. Um, because for some liquids in the body, the only way to get drained is the lymphatic system.
Exactly.
It depends on the nature of the molecules that circulates in our body, that it goes through the veins or through the lymphatic. The body is really some magnificent
right?
artwork, you know.
Yeah.
It's every time you learn something about the body like that, the details, you say, well,
It
it's
was very well created, right?
exactly, exactly. It's
So
really a
people get
masterpiece.
yeah. So people get swollen on those
Yes.
in those limbs,
Absolutely.
on the
And
arm
there, exactly.
specifically.
And women that have had that kind of surgery, they have to wear a compression sleeve for life, you know, their whole life, or the liquid will accumulate in the arm.
So it's not as simple as, oh well, they remove the breast and that's it, and now you have a new one, or now you get chemotherapy or something. No, it's not as simple as that.
Absolutely.
There's consequences for life, not in all of them, but in a lot of them, right?
Absolutely. And so these women, they have become also therapists because this treatment prevent them from having to wear this compression sleeve. If you right after the surgery, if you start doing this treatment often enough, um, this energy will also stimulate the regrowth of new lymphatic vessels.
Oh, really?
So this communication that was existing before the surgery was cut when they removed the lymphatic nodes. But with this, the same way when you cut yourself, you will have more new blood vessels.
Yes.
And the lymphatic vessels will reconnect
Oh, wow.
with the structures of the thorax. And normally, these women, they just need to use this compression sleeve to take a plane. If they do a protocol,
Yes.
a series of treatments with this machine, and they don't have this edema. It prevents and it keeps, things
That's
completely under
something
control.
but that's something
So
hilarious.
exactly. So that's, with alternative medicine, we have something in common. There are so few studies for now um, to really prove the effectiveness of treatments. And even though this machine doesn't have any serious study,
Unfortunately.
I was convinced by these women that I was just meeting and listening to their stories.
And how does it work?
This is okay. These bulbs have uh, noble gases in there, a mix of them,
Okay.
2 to 3 noble gases, and electricity goes through there. And when you put it against your skin, I hope the light can be seen through there. I just got shocked.
Yes.
When I do it, I have to wear gloves. So this produces an electrosound that goes through the tissue up to 8 inches below the skin.
Penetrates very deep.
Exactly. And normally we just put it against the skin all everywhere in the body. And normally my patients are almost naked, but under towels. I don't need to see, I know where the structures
You don't need to
are.
see the skin
So I
exactly.
go under the towels to treat all the parts of the body. And, and the treatment normally lasts between half an hour to an hour. For the whole body is an hour. I can do it also punctually in parts of the body, just partially, um, for certain problems that are really specific of that part of the body. But in general, it's better to clear up the whole body because
That was my question. It's not only for people that or women that has their breast removed. There are other benefits for everybody. Everybody can benefit from it. That's my question.
Just to give you some idea, a century ago or two, we used to walk about 12 miles a day, just because we didn't have cars, because we were working in fields, we were doing heavy lifting, we were doing a lot of physical activity. The lymphatic system doesn't have a pump like the heart is a pump for the vessels, for the blood circulation, okay? Um, Even if you are sleeping, laying down, completely without movement, your heart is pumping your blood all around the body. The lymphatic system only have the muscle contraction, active muscle contraction to pump slowly the lymph through the lymphatic nodes. And most of the body, the lymph goes against gravity. Only the head goes downwards. Okay, the ending point of the lymphatic system is here, next to the subclavian veins, under the clavicles. All the rest of the body lymphatic system comes up, so it has this natural resistance of the gravity. And because we used to move that much, our body is adapted to eliminate toxins through the lymphatic system with this amount of movements.
Exactly. That's why exercise is so important also.
Also, a couple of centuries ago, we were not exposed to so many toxins.
Of course.
Nowadays, we move less. Most of the people have very sedentary jobs. Not everybody works out 1 hour or 1 hour and a half a day.
Like this crazy one.
That's good. That's a good thing that you really work out every day. That's great. And so your lymphatic probably is in very good shape, and your body is probably very clean.
My immune system is strong. It's strong, and because it's part of it. Yeah.
It's like when you don't move your lymphatic around, it's like a stagnant water, you know? If you see a river and you have the water flowing in the mainstream, it stays in general very clean. It's moving, running. And if you go to a part of the river where the water is stagnant, it becomes really dirty. And that's about the same with the lymphatic system.
You know what? That we have a friend in common, Dr. Snyder, that we interviewed in the last podcast, and he was the one who introduced me to castor oil packs. And the castor oil, when it's placed in the abdomen while people are having the colonics, activates the lymphatic system and helps detoxify the body. His wife too, Jane, told me a lot about it. So that's one of the things I do here that I can help people with in a very simple way, not because I don't have your knowledge or your experience or the equipment or anything like that. But now I will share your information with them. But placing the castor oil in the abdomen, it's one of the things that I learned. And I learned from Jane, his wife, that women with also that breast cancer, that they remove the lymph node, they use and put the castor oil packs under the armpits to make pretty much, it's not as effective as that, or probably as not as deep as that, but it, it's very
It
helpful.
helps.
It's very helpful. Also, the infrared sauna activates because it mimics a fever. So there are a few ways to do it, but this is impressive. I've never heard of this, and that it's so accessible for so many women, and they don't probably know.
Yeah, absolutely. As I was saying before, everybody needs some help, like maybe not high performance sportive or people that work out daily because they are keeping toxins really low that way. But nowadays we put our nose, we breathe, and we are breathing toxins.
Toxins.
We have soaps and shampoos and detergents and things on our skin, We have the food. How do you do to keep your food clean? It's so
Very
difficult.
difficult. The
It's so
soil is
difficult.
already contaminated. So.
It's really hard to really, it's nobody. You cannot live under a bell,
Yeah, it's
a
true. It's
glass
true.
bell and not be in contact with the exterior. So this, everybody needs to clean up regularly at least. And some people do it like an effort once a year, and I always say, even if your budget doesn't allow to do it regularly too often, spread out sections, along the year, the
Exactly.
month, and do it regularly. And there are many methods to keep your toxins out, and this is one that is really effective.
I believe colonics and lymphatic drainage are a very good combination, and I definitely want to try this way only of lymphatic drainage. I've tried the other way, the manual way, and it was amazing. It felt amazing. It's also relaxing,
Absolutely.
which helps with the nervous system, and that's another thing that we are dealing every day with stress, and creating that fight or flight feeling and sensation in our body the whole day, like we are in danger. We are always in a hurry trying to do so many things at the same time, and that also affects our immune system. And and I guess, and you tell me because you know more, it affects also the lymphatic system and the way it works, and that's why there's so many illnesses these days also.
Yeah, I think the digestive tract is considered the exterior of the body, even
Hmm.
though it runs
Hmm.
inside because it has two openings in
Hmm.
the two extremities. Is considered exterior, and the lymphatic has a very important role in absorption and
Hmm.
controlling what enters the body, the interior of the body, and what not. But it won't do anything. The lymphatic won't do anything to the whole. This conduct inside has to be cleaned up in some other ways, like maintaining a healthy diet to improve the transit. And that's another thing that nowadays so many people eat badly, or with, many people are in a rush. So
Hmm.
it's what is most convenient, what is faster to get. And
They don't even take time to go to the toilet.
exactly.
I don't have
So,
time to go to the toilet.
or
Like I've heard
exactly.
that. I've heard that.
Exactly, and we eat a lot less in general, a
Hmm.
lot less fiber,
Yes.
and all these things. So colonics can help in this other. It complements, the
Exactly.
other
I
thing,
feel it that way.
as well as the infrared sauna is a way of eliminating toxins through the skin.
So we have been progressing in so many ways, but we have been going backwards
Yeah,
in in terms of health. That's how I see it.
it's a high price to pay for development. So it has to be balanced. We have to go back to natural things, to preventive things.
So before we finish this podcast, because I want your information so people can reach you, I want to thank our sponsor, South Broward Accounting. Your CPA, Jorge Ruiz, you can reach him at 954-318-7460. South Broward Accounting. Jorge has a master in taxation, so don't hesitate to call him. 954-318-7460, your one-stop solution for all your accounting needs. And Elena, it's been a pleasure hearing you, listening you, all that information, all your knowledge. It's an honor to have you here. I choose my guests carefully because I want really to make it, casual and fun sometimes, but I want to inform and to educate and to pass information that is really helpful for a lot of people.
I am very grateful to have been invited by you to your podcast. And I really think these therapies are so little known by the public in general. People have to be really interested in that to look up information. So, um,
Where can they
anybody,
reach you?
my phone number is 786-309-0077. I'm sorry, 786-309-0077. And the best way is to text me. So I get a lot of calls, so
Yes,
it's better to
and you're
text me so
working
I can
also.
answer. Exactly, and yes, I work and yes, I would like this therapy to be really known and spread out the good information.
Excellent. Thanks again for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me.